Sonia remembers about Grace Church. We hired Sonia as a parish worker in 1961. And this is Sonia on her first day at work.
Well, at that time in the 60s, across the land, it was pretty much the same for any new parish worker's first day at work. And these pastors' wives were genuine because they knew that their husbands needed a helping hand. So about 10 o'clock in most churches in the morning, in through the office door, there would be a great flurry and fluttering. And it would be the pastor's wife, and she'd be all fancied up, wearing a hat, smiling from ear to ear, and she'd whisk up the little parish worker, and she would take her over to the parsonage for cake and coffee and bars. Not so at Grace Church. And after, Gloria Hawkinson is here today, and after I tell you this, you'll see why we've all loved her so much. That morning at 10 o'clock, a lady walked through the door. I'd never seen her in my life. She didn't say anything. I didn't say anything either. And she wandered around, and she had curlers in her hair, and was wearing a house dress and anklets with wedgies. And I said to myself, and who are you? And this is how it went. I'm at my desk.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Hawkinson. Oh, yes.
Okay. Now we have a second skip of business time also.
We had evening unit across the land too, and we had one. And we had the President Alice Stromquist. Many of you knew Alice. So we'll just step in there tonight now. Welcome. Yes, my name is Alice Stromquist, and I've been retired, I suppose about 3.5 years now. But I have 3 new jobs. I'm president of the League of Women Voters, and I'm president of the Grace Church Ladies Aid, and I'm the designated driver for after church on Sunday. Yes, they like to ride with me because if I spot traffic coming from behind, I pull to the side of the road and stop the car. It's neither here nor there. You've come along now to go to evening unit. It's at my house tonight. I live in that frame house on the corner of Bedford and Cortland. And I live there with my sisters, Violet and Delia and Hattie and my brother Delbert. And then, as you know, our sister Pauline lives in the West. Oh, here's Violet now. Oh, Vi, we're having evening unit now. Will you please greet the people as they come in?
Yes, Alice.
Oh, and here comes Pearl Winters. Pearl is the salt of the earth, married to that wonderful Chet, and their darling daughter, Carolyn. And then here is Frances Nelson. Now, you will notice with Frances how she will say, my Adolf this, my husband Adolf that, leave thou me, glory be, my husband Adolf. Here she is. You might like to, yes, just give him a chair there. And then we have Linnea Engman, and Linnea is just all sugar and sweet. You know, sometimes a person wants to call her giddy up, but then we have Florence Gank. Linnea's son, Bill Engman, sweetest person. You know, he married that Joy Gank, and Joy is a little sweetheart. Now, Florence, of course, we all love Florence, but you know, she was feisty, and I mean, she would take issue with Pastor Hawkinson's sermons even before he finished delivering. She sat there on the back at the right, you saw her, and she shouted out. It was a good shout, but anyhow, here she is.
anything to say right now because there's no one preaching. But just give me a couple of Sundays and I'll have plenty to say.
Yes, thank you very much. Pardon me. Well, or they could just stand here too because we're going to have Bible. All right. Now, meeting will come to order. Vi, is the coffee on?
Yes, Alice.
Delbert, you can come down now. We're going to give devotions. Pearl?
I will now read from the book of John.
Glory. John was my Adolf's favorite book.
John is a good book. It sure is.
Our first item of business is the annual Ladies' Spring Luncheon.
Will it be February 12th at 6:30 in the church basement?
Yes.
Why don't we call it the Women's Winter Dinner?
No, we've always done it this way.
Pastor Hawkinson will now lead us in the closing prayer.
Praise Jesus.
And there was life, there was joy, and there was sorrow. Where are my protesters? Emily, will you please come? She's our dancer from this morning, and she has this gorgeous 50s wedding outfit on. And then I need my hippies. Now, none of these weddings took place at Grace. Vince had many weddings, but we just didn't quite get it all put together. James, give any of this. Lake Harriet in the pavilion, okay? And then we have, this needs, Joan, we didn't talk about this, but this bride and groom, would you come up, please? I was informed by the creator of this wedding dress. This wedding took place, I think, 7 July 1981, and you can imagine whose wedding it is? Whose kids are these? Now, wait a minute. Really, dramatic, just chords, just hit hard because that's what I need. I would like the designer and creator of this wedding dress to stand up.
a little more.
And then we have Carly. And, that's all right. We'll just, well, we can say so. This is Carly. And Martha and Dee Frankie were married in 1984. And Martha said, oh, all the brides had hats. Now, you can just stay there a minute. We've missed the song that Julie has practiced, so she's going to sing it. All right.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we are to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, to leave the feeling of love and delight.
After 31 years, Vince retired and we called Berlin Smith. And here he is, being Berlin Smith.
This is the toughest role of my acting career. My name is Berlin Smith. After teaching and campus ministry all of my ordained years, I finally became a parish pastor when Grace University Lutheran Church called me in 1985 to be their pastor. And I accepted with great gratitude because I knew this congregation. I'd been a member here for a little while. And they weren't looking abroad for a pastor, they just got a homebody. And despite the fact that I'm the first Gentile to be pastor at Grace, by that I mean non-Swede, of course. But I knew the congregation and its commitment to peace and justice. And as I have many times said, Vince Hawkinson preached all the rednecks out of this place a long time ago. So it was a great place to come because I knew I was on the left side of all the issues. And one of the real gifts in coming here was to get to know Harold and Marilyn Belga. Marilyn's going to join me here. You know, Marilyn has become very well known around the country as the Queen Mother of Comedy.
Yes.
But actually, her husband Harold was a pretty funny guy too. I remember the time I visited him in the nursing home, and when he saw me, he said, I knew I was old enough for the doctor to come, but I didn't know I was old enough for the preacher to come. Marilyn has a vow. You want to lead us in your vow. Give Marilyn a big applause.
Would the congregation please rise? And place your hand over your heart. Over your heart. I am a 80-year-old Swedish Lutheran post-menopausal mammal. I can't see, and I can't hear. But thank God I can still drive. Over the years, I have been sustained by a pledge that I would like to have you repeat after me, please. A pledge that has encouraged and supported me. And I will say it, and then you repeat after me. Okay. Every morning I get up in the mirror I look at my reflection and I say, I am becoming physically more attractive.
Okay, we say that. I am becoming
physically more attractive.
Mentally more alert.
Mentally more alert.
Intellectually more stimulating.
Intellectually more stimulating.
And financially more independent.
Financially more independent.
And richer.
This
This is most certainly true.
Yes,
Most certainly true. Thank you.
Thank you, Berlin and Marilyn, Queen Mother of Comedy. Now, Marilyn is okay, what fun we had on the call committee. And we chose 2 pastors. Pastor Dan, where are you?
Baba.
Oh, Bob, wait a minute. 76 years old. I promised him a minute. Then we had Baba.
There we go. Sir, I've got tough congregations. You are the most Christ-centered, the most child-loving, the most elder-respecting, and the most spirit-seeking. I love being here. Thanks for calling on me.
Thanks, Bob, especially since you said such nice things about me. Okay, this is Pastor Dan.
They're laughing. You didn't tell me that, did you? Mary and I were called in 1993 to serve as the first clergy couple ever at Grace. We bought a long, narrow house. We moved from Wisconsin with 3 young children trailing behind us. For the first 6 years, we had shared one desk, a phone, and a ministry. For the next 3 years, Mary got the desk all to herself. After 10 years as co-pastors, we now each have our own desks. Our ministry has been shaped by the idea of partnership. Not only partnership with each other, but partnership with the many ministers of grace. I promised the kids I'd get a little of this in. With good listening ears, creative touches to worship, and a deep desire for inclusion, peace and justice for all. We find Grace to be a challenging, committed, and caring community to share with in ministry.
Now, we have just, everything doesn't, Dan has to get over there, and Sonia, as Pastor Mary, has to be over there. Okay. And we're doing all the swearing here. Okay, I did not write this script. Mary wrote the script.
Did you take the chicken out the thaw?
Yes. Did you put the clothes in the dryer?
Yes. Did you put the prayers on the altar?
Mary, of course. Who do you take me for? Did you get someone to help with communion?
No, but I'll talk to Julie and Tim during the announcements. Kids City.
The kids? I didn't bring the kids. I thought you were going to.
Preaching today. You were supposed to.
I had a forum and a meeting to do. I didn't have time.
Here they are. Well, I was supposed to play Pastor Mary today, but 2 days ago, Nikki in the church office got a call from 2 Grace Church members who give a lot of money to the building fund, and they said that if they didn't get to hear the scoop about what Pastor Mary did 3 years ago at Synod meeting, they weren't even going to the Centennial, and they wanted to hear that right from the horse's mouth. Well, 3 years ago, Pastor Mary swore me to secrecy about this story. But now she's done something even worse, so she said to shut me up about that, I could tell this. And this is the truth, too. Anyway, Patty Lee, an innocent person, and I were driving down there to Gus Davis with Pastor Mary to the synod meeting, and then at the last minute, Patty Lee decided to drive down with her father, and I thought, oh, brother. Well, it went pretty good until we got down to Belle Plaine, and Pastor Mary and I stopped in at Emma Crumby's for a bite to eat, and then you know how those highways go. 2 go one way to St. Peter, and 2 go this way to Minneapolis. Well, I didn't think Pastor Mary was talking any more than she usually does, but she turned into the one way, the wrong way, and that lady was coming straight at us, and I saw the whites of her eyes, and I've never been in such a fast U-turn in my entire life. And so when Pastor Mary got us going down the right way, the one way, I just put a handful of B-complex in my mouth to get myself to St. Peter. So we got down there, and she had a room, and I had a room, and she went down to her room. And when I went into my room, there was a man in my bed. And I called down the hall and I said, Pastor Mary, there's a man in my bed. And she called back, oh, there is not. And I said, well, you better come down here. And so she charged down the hall and she looked in and she said, what are you doing in Sonya's bed? And he sat up and he said, this is my bed. You 2 are on the men's floor. Now, I tell you, I could tell you more, but curl your teeth. So I'll just hand it over to her husband, Pastor Dan. Well, here he is.
There is something about Mary.
There was life, and there was joy, and there was sorrow. Originally, we thought that Karen was going to be here. She was going to even bandage her head so we could all remember that tender time at our church. And what it meant to have the community behind Karen. But she's not here. I don't know what happened, but anyhow, that's fine. We are all so grateful that Karen now plays the piano and Mary Judah and all that kind of thing. And now we are going to have the protesters first. You know, this church can't be along without protesters. David were married at Grace Church in 2002, I believe she said July, and they are here in person so that we can celebrate that again. That our forefathers and our foremothers would be quite surprised that we have put together enough moments of love, joy, peace, and sorrow, and grace to make 100 years. 100 years of grace. Thanks be to God.
Like
standing. Thank you, Kitty, and all of you who are part of this wonderful walk through history. One housekeeping item. Dion is an all-around guy today. He has some tiles, the beautiful tiles that depict the symbol in the front of our church. If you ordered one of those, he's eager to provide those to people who have ordered them. He's going to go back to the church, and if you want to just go into the basement and pick those up from him if you ordered them. Our time together now in this place is coming to an end. We will be led in a closing prayer by our first-year confirmands, followed by a hymn of sending out, led by Pastor Mary, again in the back of your program.
Kids, come on up. Confirmation class. Peter.
Loving God, for this wonderful day to celebrate 100 years,
We give you thanks. For friendships and laughter, food and memories, we give you thanks.
For our congregation, its history and its future,
We give you thanks.
for worship and coffee hour and for a caring community,
We give you thanks.
for your love and for the gift of faith.
We give you thanks. Let the people say amen.
Amen.